Her name was Emily Carter, late 20s, brown coat, cracked phone screen, eyes that looked like she had not slept in days. She asked for a room as far from the elevator as possible. When I gave her the key, she paused and asked if anyone had stayed in that room recently. I told her no. That was a lie. The room had been occupied every night that week. At 1:17 a.m., the phone rang. Emily whispered that someone was knocking on her bathroom door from the inside. I told her to step into the hallway. I watched camera 7 as her door opened. She stood there barefoot, shaking. I went up with a master key. The bathroom was empty. No vents big enough for a person. No open windows. When we returned to the room, the mirror was fogged like someone had just showered. The air smelled metallic. She checked out an hour later and left the key on the desk without a word. By morning, I convinced myself it was stress. Then I pulled the incident log to write it up and noticed something that made my stomach drop. 3 similar calls that month. Same room. Same complaint. Knocking from inside the bathroom. All guests checked out before dawn. That afternoon, I asked the housekeeping supervisor, Linda Morales, about 418. She went quiet, told me to stop asking questions if I wanted hours. But before she walked away, she said something I still hear in my sleep. If the mirror is warm, don't touch it. The next week, the calls started again. Always between 1 o'clock and 1:30 a.m. Always room 418. I started watching the cameras more closely. On camera 7, the hallway outside 418 would dim slightly at 1:12 a.m., like someone had breathed on the lens. At 1:16, the bathroom light inside the room would flick on by itself. I finally checked the archives. In 1998, a woman named Sarah Whitman died in 418. Police report said accidental overdose. The hotel's internal notes said something else. Housekeeping found a bathroom door locked from the inside. No signs of forced entry. The mirror cracked down the center. The last entry in the file was written by a former night auditor named Mark Reynolds. He had resigned the next day. His note ended mid-sentence. On my last night shift before Christmas, room 418 was booked again. A couple this time. Daniel and Rebecca Lewis, visiting from Portland. Normal. Smiling. I warned them nothing because that would have sounded insane. At 1:14 a.m., the hallway camera dimmed. At 1:17, the phone rang. Rebecca was crying. Daniel was shouting that someone was trapped in the bathroom and begging for help. I told them to get out. As I ran upstairs, the elevator stalled on the 4th floor with a hard jolt. The doors opened to a hallway that felt wrong. Warmer. Thick. Like breathing through cloth. Room 418's door was open. Daniel stood in the hall, pale, staring at his hands like he didn't recognize them. Rebecca was pressed against the wall, covering her ears. From inside the bathroom came slow, deliberate knocking. 3 taps. Pause. 3 taps. I stepped inside. The mirror was fogged completely except for a handprint on the glass, pressed from the other side. The knocking stopped. Words appeared in the steam letter by letter, as if written by a finger I could not see. Let me out. I grabbed Daniel and Rebecca and pulled them into the hall. As the bathroom light clicked off, the mirror cleared. In the reflection behind us, someone stood in the doorway. A woman with wet hair plastered to her face, eyes black and pleading. When I turned, the doorway was empty. We went back downstairs. The couple checked out, hands shaking. They did not ask for a refund. They just wanted to leave. I called Linda, told her everything. There was a long silence. Then she told me the truth. Sarah Whitman had not overdosed. She had been trapped in the bathroom when a faulty lock jammed. She screamed for hours. Guests complained about knocking. By the time maintenance broke the door, she was gone. The hotel paid to keep it quiet. I quit that night. Months later, curiosity got the better of me. I looked up Mark Reynolds. Found an obituary. Died in 1999. Cause of death listed as suicide. Address at time of death was the Alderbrook Hotel, room 418. I still dream of that mirror. In the dreams, it is warm. In the dreams, someone knocks from the inside, slow and patient, like they know I am listening. I will never stay in a hotel alone again. In October 2018, I was driving alone from Portland to Boise for a freelance photography job. Around 11:40 p.m., heavy rain forced me to stop earlier than planned. My phone battery was dying, and the nearest town had one option: a two-story motel called the Cedar Valley Inn. Yellow lights, faded sign, parking lot almost empty. It looked old but not abandoned, just tired. The man at the front desk was named Frank Miller. Late 50s, thin smile, didn't make eye contact. He handed me a physical key instead of a card and said, "Room 217, end of the hall." He paused, then added, "If you hear knocking, don't answer it. We get pranksters." He laughed like it was nothing. I should have left right then. The hallway smelled like damp carpet and cleaning chemicals. Room 217 sat beside a locked door marked "Staff Only." Inside, the room was clean, but wrong in subtle ways. The mirror above the dresser was cracked down the middle. The smoke detector blinked red every few seconds. And there was a deep scratch mark on the inside of the bathroom door, like something had tried to claw its way out. I told myself I was tired and overthinking. I showered, locked the door, and lay down fully dressed. Around 1:12 a.m., I heard the first knock. 3 slow taps. Not loud, not playful. I held my breath. After a few seconds, I heard footsteps walking away down the hall. I remembered Frank's warning and stayed still. 10 minutes later, the knocking came again. This time closer, right at my door. "Housekeeping," a woman's voice said softly. At 1 a.m., I didn't respond. The handle turned slightly, testing the lock. Then silence. I didn't sleep after that. At 2:47 a.m., something changed. I woke to the sound of whispering, not from the hallway, from inside the room. It sounded like someone standing near the bathroom, speaking under their breath. I sat up fast and turned on the lamp. The room was empty, but the bathroom door was open. I was sure I had closed it. On the fog mirror, words had been written with a finger. "Stay in the room." My heart was pounding, so hard I felt dizzy. I wiped the mirror clean with a towel, locked the bathroom door, and pushed the dresser in front of it. I grabbed my phone, now at 3% battery, and texted my sister my location. The message sent. The phone died. At exactly 3:07 a.m., the power went out. That's when I heard something scrape behind the wall near the staff-only door. Slow, deliberate, like someone dragging nails along wood. I sat frozen in the dark, listening to that scraping move closer to my room. The wall behind the bed vibrated slightly, like something heavy was shifting inside it. Then I heard breathing, deep, wet, and right on the other side of the wall. I whispered, "Please go away," without even realizing I'd spoken. The breathing stopped. Then came a soft laugh. The wall panel behind the headboard creaked inward just enough to show a thin vertical gap. I could see darkness behind it, and an eye, wide, bloodshot, unblinking. I screamed and scrambled off the bed, grabbing the lamp and smashing it against the wall. The eye disappeared instantly. The panel snapped back into place. Silence followed. No footsteps, no breathing. At 3:30 a.m., the power returned like nothing had happened. I ran to the front desk barefoot. Frank wasn't there. Instead, a younger woman named Emily Rhodes stood behind the counter. She looked confused when she saw me shaking and crying. When I told her everything, her face drained of color. She didn't ask questions. She didn't argue. She just whispered, "You were in 217? She called the police immediately. The officers arrived within 15 minutes. They searched the room, then the staff-only area beside it. Behind that locked door was a narrow maintenance corridor that ran between several rooms. Inside it, they found blankets, food wrappers, and a camera mounted at head height, pointed directly through small removable wall panels. The officer told me they'd suspected someone had been living inside the walls for months. A former maintenance worker named Harold Quinn, who was fired years earlier and never officially moved out of the building. He had been using the corridors to watch guests knock on doors, whisper through vents, and sometimes enter rooms when people slept. But here's the part that still keeps me awake. When they checked the camera footage from that night, the timestamp showed Harold standing inside the wall outside my room at 2:50 a.m. He leaned close to the panel and whispered something. The audio was clear. You weren't supposed to wake up. Harold was found 2 days later in the crawl space beneath the motel, dead from what police called natural causes. No drugs, no injuries, just gone. The Cedar Valley Inn shut down permanently 3 months later. The building was demolished the following year. I still have the key from room 217. I didn't take it on purpose. It was in my jacket pocket when I got home. The motel never called to ask for it back. Sometimes late at night, I swear I hear 3 slow knocks on my apartment door. I never answer, because I know now that some places don't let you leave completely, and some people don't stop watching just because the walls are gone.